Actually in the video camera? No.
Okay, you can go ahead and start whenever you're ready, Shannon.
Okay, I have my two right here. Okay. Y'all can go back now.
Oh wait, don't they need to number off?
Yeah, okay. So let's number off. 1,
2,
3,
4,
5, 6. Okay. Introducing the culture of wine in Villa Vignamaggio is an interesting thing. Wine brings together cultures and people. It attracts by entertaining and enticing the customer with flavor, taste, and more importantly, the experience. Many connoisseurs delve in their passion for wine by visiting their favorite vineyards. Many are located in Italy. Choosing a vineyard that offers the selection that they want to see. Villa Vignamaggio offers the textile scenery, enriching and wine. Villa Vignamaggio fulfills and exceeds expectations on a traditional Italian vineyard. Nestled in the heart of Tuscany, Villa Vignamaggio offers lodging and accommodations that are true to its history and customs. Deciding on the Villa Vignamaggio as your destination is an experience for the citizens. One of the first resources for travelers is www.tripadvisor.com, where Villa Vignamaggio receives wonderful reviews from past visitors. Some are marvelous, straight out of the movies, and brilliant. Overall, Villa Vignamaggio received a 4.5-star overall rating. The villa is a part of the agritourism in Tuscany. It allows patrons to enjoy the Italian countryside life of a working vineyard. Forms of lodging that the villa has are suite and double bedrooms. Some more additional forms of lodging include apartments, bed and breakfast, and there are also privately owned guest houses built out of old Italian homes that are less than 300 meters from the city. Please accommodate two swimming pools, this court, and more importantly, a wine bar and delightful restaurant on site. Villa Vignamaggio dates back to the 14th century, though it began to thrive in the 17th. Owned by the Girazzini family until the late 1880s, and then bought by Countess Elena Scaminelli, and it has continued to stay true to its history. As of 1998, it has begun improving its Italian aesthetic. Located in Chianti area near the Villa de Greve, the history goes deeper.
If not for the fancy dining, the glorious vineyards, and the elegant hotels, then museums, churches, and historical landmarks should be the next big thing to experience on your list. Of all the things you should do on your trip to Tuscany, sightseeing should definitely be one of them. Greve, spelled Greve, which got its name from sitting in the Val di Greve River, was coined the gateway to Chianti because it's the first major town heading into the Chianti region. It's a small town not lying at the top of a hill, but its interestingly shaped main square is the perfect location from which to wander around, enjoy an espresso, a gelato, or a glass of wine. Until recently, it has been a quiet, slightly isolated town because it was and still is well off the main roads. However, today, modern transportation has connected it to the world at large, enabling it to export abundant quantities of wine and attract many tourists. All this information can be found at wikipedia.com/Greve in Chianti. Piazza Matteotti is the main square in Greve. Although it isn't necessarily shaped like a square, it is still considered the square because it's the main focal point of the town. Greve offers a chance to enjoy a relaxing stroll in the main square without it being overwhelming. It has some regular lively events that take place, including food and wine festivals. Music and markets intermingle year-round but take place mainly in the summer and the fall. Some famous shops are located on the main square. A few are the Antica Macelleria Falorni, a Tuscan butcher shop that has been in the same spot since 1729, and the large statue near City Hall of Giovanni da Verrazzano, the famous explorer that discovered the Hudson Bay in New York. With the elegance of a small town, Greve has a few museums and monuments to visit. Located adjacent to the square is the Santa Croce Church. Built on the site of the medieval church, it still displays several masterpieces. from churches in the local surroundings. One of the most well-known of these works is the 14th century fresco depicting the Virgin Mary with child. A few steps away from the Piazza Matteotti is the Museum of Sacred Art. In this former hospital of St. Francis, visitors can admire the original platform of the annexed oratory, which is where the saints and the evangelists spoke to the crowds. It's branded with a marvelous group of sculptures in colored terracotta, which is a fancy word for the browns, golds, and mahoganies. Within it holds 14th century works such as the Annunciation from Santa Croce Church, and a Virgin Mary with child between St. Bartholomew and St. Francis from the Church of Santa Maria a Cintoia. One last museum that is worth the stop is the Wine Museum, that offers wine tastings of over 200 different labels. In the museum, there are also many old farm machines on display, as well as 180 different corkscrews. I was able to locate all this information at Chianti's home website at chianti.com/greve. Last but definitely not least, make sure to visit the beautiful Monte Fiorale. And as you can see, I have photos prepared on my iPod for my audience to look at of the square in Chianti and at Monte Fiorale. This small consolidated village is located on the hill above Greve, less than a mile away from the main square. Here, the famous explorer Amerigo Vespucci was born. The ancestral home is located along the main street. Its only distinguishing mark is the family's coat of arms with a wasp above its doorway. So while you're in Tuscany, don't forget to get a good stroll through the main square, visit the churches and museums, and simply enjoy the timelessness that is Italy.
Chianti wines date back to 1404 in Tuscany. Villa Vignamaggio is no exception. Lisa Gherardini, the famous Mona Lisa, took her first steps in this vineyard as her parents were the first owners. Chianti originated in the Tuscan Valley with vineyards full of Sangiovese grapes. Sangiovese means the blood of Jove. Jove was the supreme god of Roman mythology. Grapes are considered the dominating grapes in Italy. Chianti wines must contain at least 80% of Sangiovese grapes in order to be marketed and sold as Chianti. The Chianti flavor profile can range from light-bodied to full-bodied. Full-bodied wines have the highest levels of tannin and usually higher alcohol content. They are usually rich in black cherry and earthy flavors. Chianti is one of the favorite wines to pair with the meal. It matches well with red meat, fish, lamb, stews, and especially the fine aged cheeses that Italy has to offer. A local establishment, Gallo Nero Restaurant, also rated #1 restaurant in the Chianti area, has favorite items on its menu such as bruschetta with prosciutto drizzled with olive oil. Both prosciutto and bruschetta and olive oil are native to the area. The olive oil or the olive trees are planted alongside of the grape vineyards in Italy. The food eaten in Tuscan Valley is bold in flavors, which is enhanced with the different varieties of wines. You can find this restaurant and their menu at www.ristorante.it. The gallery has beautiful pictures of some of their favorite dishes, one of them being Italy's favorite dish, which is the Florentine steak, which is basically a T-bone steak cooked very, very rare. Meredith and Shannon have shared wonderful sights in Italy as well as the accommodations. The scenery is beautiful and breathtaking, no matter where you are. The accommodations make you feel as if you just stood back in time. Each vineyard in the Tuscan Valley has something unique to offer and is rich in history. While planning your next vacation, take a trip to Tuscan Chianti, Italy. It will be one of the most relaxing and memorable trips. See the sights, drink their wines, and step back in time to a more peaceful place. It will be the vacation of a lifetime. Salute.
Now I'm going to open up the floor for questions. Does anybody have any questions?
What makes these grapes so special?
The reason the Sangiovese grapes are so special is because on the outside, the grapes usually are thicker skinned, and these particular grapes have a real thin skin, which allows them to hang on the vine longer. Thus allowing them to mature. So by maturing further, they actually absorb and enhance more of the flavors. Next question.
I have a question. I heard you mention something called gelato. What is that?
Gelato is, it's really a fancy word for Italian ice cream. It's usually served and stored a little bit warmer than our frozen ice cream, and it's made much differently. The taste is known to be a lot richer because it has more concentrated cream in it.
Okay.
Yeah. Next question.
If I were to visit, where's the closest airport?
Well, you can fly into the Pisa airport and arrive by shuttle. There's also an international airport in Florence that you can also arrive to the Villa Vignamaggio by shuttle.
And we're good.